So rookie minicamp has begun, and Doug Peterson addressed the media, and he said two interesting things I want to talk about in this video. He talked about cross-training some of the offensive linemen, and if Carson Wentz will be ready for OTAs in 2 weeks.
Still the cowboy, Mr. McLean. You Americans are all alike. But this time, John Wayne doesn't walk into the sunset with Grace Kelly. Scary Cooper, asshole!
Oh, Diva!
Oh, shit! Oh, shit! That was crazy!
Happy trails, Hans.
Dallas still stinks.
Yo, everybody, Lou King Ding back here, and I hope everybody's having a great Friday. Hope everything's going great for you guys. I'm in a very good mood today. Sixers win Game 6, Force Game 7. Cannot wait till Sunday. Oh my gosh, it's going to be crazy. But they win. We also have the Eagles starting rookie minicamp, and I always enjoy these mini camps and the OTAs that are going to be coming soon too. It's a nice in a way because you get to see the players on the field, you get to hear about them, who looks good, all that kind of stuff. But then you have to also wait a long time before preseason even starts. It's still far away, and there's going to be a lot of stuff coming from these OTAs and these rookie mini camps, and we're going to be wondering about this guy, that guy, and it's just going to be a mess. But it is what it is, and Eagles rookie minicamp started today, and we'll get more into that later. But I want to start out by talking about a couple things Doug Peterson said today in his press conference. Now, one of the first things that he mentioned was Carson Wentz and whether or not Carson Wentz will be playing or practicing in OTAs in 2 weeks. Now, this is a big deal in a lot of people's eyes because he was supposed to be recovered by now from when he first got hurt. He got hurt back in October. They took him out, I believe, in December, and he hasn't played or done anything since. It was supposed to be like a 3-month recovery. So if he's not recovered, then what's going on? That's what people are going to think. Doug would not say specifically, yes, Carson's going to play. No, he wouldn't. He's like, when OTAs come, we'll discuss it then. So he obviously didn't want to discuss it or talk about it, and that could lead some people to believe that, oh, Carson must not be ready. He must still be hurt, and there must be a problem. Doug said that they're very encouraged by where Carson is. He's been able to work out in the phases that they've had so far. And here's my personal opinion. If Carson Wentz misses OTAs, I don't care. I don't care. It's May. It's May. The important part for me is to see Carson Wentz when training camp begins, to be in all the practices. If you remember last year, he wouldn't do any of the 12-on-12 drills. He wouldn't do a lot of those kind of things. They would take him out, and they let him go the first couple days. Then they pulled him back, and he really didn't do much at all for the most of training camp, and that would have been where you really can work on some timing and stuff, and I would like to see him in OTAs, and I hope he can play in OTAs, but I don't think it's a make or break if he doesn't. I don't think that means he's still damaged goods or he's not going to have a good season or anything like that. I think as long as he's ready to go at training camp, he's going to be fine. Let me tell you this. I'm saying it right now. I believe Carson plays every game this year. I believe the only injury you're going to have to worry about are those big pimples that pop up sometimes on him, and they're huge. But I think that's it. Otherwise, I think Carson's ready to go. I think he's ready, the North Dakota assassin. So I'm not worried whether he practices in 2 weeks or not at OTAs. I think he probably will. But if he doesn't, it's not a big deal. It's only May. When we get to training camp and he starts missing practices in training camp and 12-on-12 drills and those kind of things, then I'll start getting a little concerned. But right now in May, no need to worry about it. But I do think he's going to play. I think Doug is leaving the media hanging to leave the media hanging. Why not? Why not? The other thing that Doug talked about that I find very interesting and refreshing is that he talked a lot about cross-training the offensive linemen and start cross-training some of those guys to not only play the left tackle or right tackle position, but the guard position. So I've talked about how I think the interior offensive line needs help. It needs depth. I think that left guard spot, I think we need to do something there. And then we have the right guard spot where Brooks is hurt, and we're not sure exactly when he's going to come back. And when he comes back, will he be 100% healthy? Now, I think Pryor is going to take over that right guard spot until Brooks comes back. But there's still, in my opinion, a hole at that left guard spot. Now, what Peterson was saying today was that when they drafted Andre Dillard, they decided that they are going to basically keep him at the tackle position. They're going to let him learn the left, let him learn some of the right, but they're not going to move him to guard. So he's going to do the left tackle thing. And that leaves some other guys who possibly could be cross-trained to play not only tackle but guard. Big V is one of the guys who they're going to try to put inside and let him learn how to play some guard. Now, I'm up and down with Big V at the tackle position, but he could play left tackle, he could play right tackle, and he's decent. And I think he could probably make the transition to that guard spot. So he's one of the guys that they want to cross-train, teach him how to play guard. And then the other guy, and I find this interesting, they want to take Jordan Mailata and let him possibly try to play some guard too. Now, I think that guy could do anything. He could play tackle. I think he could play fullback. I think he could play guard, and I'm very curious to see how he transitions to a guard because he's new to football. Last year when he came to the Eagles, he never had put on pads really. Never really had put on pads. Learned a lot during preseason and training camp, and he actually made the team, and he showed a lot of improvement, and people are saying he's worked really hard this offseason, and it's going to be curious to see where he is. But they're looking at getting one of those guys and possibly making them a guard. And I think if they can do that and add depth that way and have these guys that can play multiple positions, because I always talk about versatility on the offensive line. The more positions you can play, the more valuable to a team you are. But I love the idea of taking Big V, Jordan Mailata, and possibly making them a guard. And we'll see how it goes. And then the other option that people forget is that Jason Peters, when he signed his contract a few years ago, one of the things they talked about in the press conference was at some point moving Jason to left guard and letting him play and maybe adding a year or two to his career. Now, I don't think he's going to do that this year. I think that he's going to stay at left tackle. He'll teach Andre Dillard how to play left tackle and, be his mentor. But it's always a possibility. But the Eagles are looking at the offensive linemen they got some guys that can play tackle, and they're going to teach them to play guard. I like it. I like this move. I think this is good. It's going to be very interesting to see how these guys progress. You know what I mean? And then, like I said earlier, this is rookie minicamp. It's been going on. Not a lot to really talk about in terms of things happening. These guys, they're getting their first taste of stuff. One interesting thing was that they were putting Miles Sanders at the punt return spot along with Whiteside, who never really did that before. And he may get Miles Sanders may get a leg up, kickoff returns or something like that. But I think Miles Sanders is going to make an impact on the Eagles in a lot of different ways. I know they were talking a little bit. I did hear a little bit about Thorson. They said he has a pretty big arm, but look, they're in shorts right now. You can't put a whole lot into it except to say that, hey, I can't wait to see these guys play, and it's going to be interesting. So that's pretty much what's going on right now. To me, it's all about Carson and being healthy, and what are they going to do with that interior offensive line? Because I think that is a very interesting spot for the Eagles, and I like the idea of cross-training some of these guys and making them very versatile. So with that said, I hope you guys have a great day. Take care. Talk to you later. Don't be a dingbat.